Okay, so I am kind of testing out the stream here a little bit. I'm having to reset up OBS completely, and so it's a little bit of a challenge. Got to like do everything again. So yeah, let me. I don't want to use resources here if I don't have to. Let me turn off the stream preview, hide the player. Okay, I don't need to be seeing that because it saves computer resources in doing so. Okay, so on Friday. Friday was it? Yeah, I think it was on Friday. Um, I restarted my computer. I restarted it. It's a little story time just in the beginning, right? I restarted my computer on Friday, and this was at about I want to say like 3, 4 o'clock, no, about 3:30, somewhere around there. Because it was feeling sluggish. It was also feeling kind of glitchy, right? Here I am, like as I moved my mouse from one monitor to another, like I don't know, one monitor would kind of be a little fizzy if I was hovering my mouse around another one. And I don't see that often. It felt like a really weird, like graphics card error. And I felt like if I didn't like restart my computer and I just started streaming and put even more pressure on my graphics card, then it would have been probably worse. So I decided to restart. So I restart my computer, and when I get up into the sign in screen for restarting my computer, where you just do your pin to get into Windows, and it would take you to your desktop after that. I didn't see the input field for my pin, so I would get to like that startup screen where you would press enter, and then the screen would blur, and the whole screen, like it would blur, and then it would show you like the input box where you type in your pin or password. Well, it didn't. It did not show me the password field, and so I could not type in my Windows password to log into my desktop. If there's no field, I can't type anything in. I can't get to my desktop. That's really bad. So I called my dad. My dad, really, really, really smart when it comes to computers, and he was able to walk me through quite a lot of it. He was obviously very knowledgeable. He helped me get into safe mode, get into secure boot, and all that. Um, we played around with command prompt a little bit. We were trying to see what the problem was, like inside Windows. We found that my computer thought that my C drive suddenly became my D drive, and my D drive became my C drive, and that is a big problem. And it didn't help when I unplugged my D drive. It didn't help. Um, I forget what happened after that, but it was like not much better. Big weird, really weird Windows error. The only thing I could do was do a full um, Windows wipe, completely fresh install of Windows, the kind where you lose all of your files. Right, I did that. Finally, that worked. Second try too, because I actually tried to reset with Windows and not lose all my stuff, and that did not work. So I had to do the full drive reformat thing. That sucked big nuts. That was terrible. So what was okay though about it was that thankfully I do have OneDrive, and I pay for a good OneDrive service. So um, I have a terabyte that it holds in backup. And when I logged back into Windows and I signed into my Microsoft account, it's like, oh yeah, this is your OneDrive account. Let's just start downloading all your files again. And so I found all my LFGS assets. I found like the logos and all the things you're seeing on the screen. So able to save that, able to save like my B rate back photo here. You can see this, my stream starting soon. Still kept that. Very cool. Didn't lose any of that. And that was motivating. That helped me kind of mentally regear, get back into it and everything. So yeah, we're back up. I've kind of got this going on. I got a couple new things going on here. I got like a blue team score and like a red team score on the other side. I'll try to keep those updated. And normally they would move over to my display over here like this, but I've hid them because when we're going to look at the replay viewer, I'll show you what I mean here. So if I were to enable red team and blue team score, they don't quite fit on the banners up here as well, as you can see. But in a regular game, they would fit a lot better. And just because the UI in the replay viewer is different, so I'm going to keep those off for now. But that's just an update that we're kind of looking to do. We got those blue team, red team scores going right now. What else? Not really sure. So that's kind of where we're at. From here, oh, you know what I don't have? I don't have the chat on screen. So for this one I don't have that. Let me see if I can really quickly go to Streamlabs, log in. Because I definitely want chat on the screen. All right, so we're gonna get into the VOD recaps in a little bit here, but I do kind of want to make the stream look good. This is part of today's stream. Really is just me trying to get back into it all, and so that is going to take a little bit. Let's see here. All widgets. I want the chat box. Is that what this is? Nice. This looks cool. Okay, this is what I want. Go viewer plat icons. Oh, that's kind of nice. Clean boxed. Oh, that's cool. It would come up like that. Twitch. And that and the clean. I like the clean. The clean does look good. The clean's also like centered. And I kind of want it to be left align. Old school. Oh my god, it looks so funny. Chunky. Twitch. Twitch is left aligned, and that's super convenient for like centering and putting it exactly where I want. That's cool. Font size. So I got a font size button here, and I can kind of change font size a little bit. But I can also kind of do that elsewhere. I'll keep it at like 26 font. And I don't know what else I really want to do. I don't want to do a chat delay. Enable custom. No, I'll just. Okay, click to copy the widget URL. Before you proceed, please read the following and copy the URL. Please do not share this with anyone. Okay, do not expose that to the public. You viewers, evil viewers out there trying to steal my stuff. See, I want to look at docs stats. I want to see that. Okay. I kind of want to dock that over here. Not the stats. Hold on. No, not that. Not that. Not that. Docs. I want Twitch stats. There we go. My beautiful 2 viewers joining me for today's amazing stream. Thank you. I got that copied. Okay. And now I think I go here and I make a browser. And I create a new browser and I URL that. And yeah, I think that's what I do. And I hit OK. And I'm going to make a test message. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. And so I got that. Obviously, it needs to be bigger, but it also needs to be like a little bit wider. It needs to be different dimensions. So I'm going to go with a height of like 300. That's the correct shape. I have a big ass Twitch name though. I think I'll put it in the middle here. Obviously, this is a problem. I would need to make the font bigger, I think. You can't see that for shit. Test, yeah. How am I gonna do that? I'm gonna make font a lot bigger. Like that. And then let's change this. Copy. And then let's it's just way bigger. And of course, every OBS window comes up as insanely big. And we're gonna test again. I didn't change shit. Okay. Use custom frame rate, control audio, shut down source, read access, OBS. Okay. This back to 600. We'll do this thing again. All right, so it'll look like that, but it needs to still be a lot bigger. Like the font size didn't get bigger. It's so small. You can barely see that. What is the emos show up really well? Okay, well, it kind of shows up, but it's also kind of okay. It does. It would just I just have to like make it a lot bigger. What if I genuinely made this like okay? I see. I just have to make it like that. So if I make it that big, but then lower the width to like 500, you can start seeing that a little bit better. Okay, it's starting to look kind of nice. Let's type in a really long message and see how it sort of word wraps on stream. Not terrible. It cuts off my name a little bit there too if they're looking for gold scrims just to make the space for it. That's kind of nice. Okay. And then so I can like any way to add like a border to it. Okay, text color, background color. Well, it just needs to be like an outline. There already is a little bit of an outline, so you can kind of read it. It's just you can't like read it super duper well. And that's kind of sad. Maybe this will have to do for now. The height, I'm gonna change the height to 400 for now. We're gonna get it like right around here, like that. Okay. So we got that going on. Hopefully that doesn't mess with too much. We'll be okay. Okay. Right in the center of the screen. And then on this scene, we're going to want to have the same browser. So we're going to copy, go back to here. We're going to paste the reference. We're going to have that going to be like right over here-ish. Be like right there. SD. It comes up. Okay. So you can see people talking in the chat. It's looking big enough. That's what she said. Okay. Now, with that being said, we do have Aimless Esports on the left, and we have Plant Gang on the right. By left and right, I mean blue and red. Okay. This is the playoffs for match 1 on Friday. This is between Aimless Esports and Plant Gang. So it looks like they started on Li Jiang, and we're just going to kind of run through a sort of recap of the video. Let me know, by the way, in Twitch chat. It's not on any delay today because it's just testing. Let me know if the stream looks like really terrible. I think I set it to 720p 60 frames per second. So just like if anyone's in the chat and willing and able to help, just let me know. Okay. It looks like Cavanari from Aimless Esports just starting off clean, coming straight out with the pharmacy right in the beginning here. We get a teleport from Plant Gang right onto point, and I realize I should probably not be pausing this, but we do have the ability to pause it, so it's whatever. Slowbro on the Symmetra here is going to be able to just kind of create this wall of turrets, and this is going to be tough for Aimless Esports to get into. Generally what you do in this scenario is you just have Ari on the Pharah cut on the flank like he's doing right now and try to shoot the turrets from the other side, and that enables Aimless to walk in. What we see here is Ari actually gets an opening pick onto subspace, and that is going to be the end for Aimless Esports to start making some progress on point after having lost here 8, 9, 10% almost, 11. It's getting up there a little bit. So a little bit of a lead for Plant Gang in the beginning, but losing that fight pretty quickly after kind of actually puts a huge advantage in favor of Aimless Esports right here. And the reason it's a big advantage is because now they get to actually defend the point with defender's advantage, like actually defending the enemy spawn. So you can see how they've already gotten past in percentage past Plant Gang. See here, James Bong kind of immediately, and I realize I need to take this off, my bad. I do it by habit. It's okay though. James Bong actually kills Ari as Junkrat, and it's kind of a hero play right there. Bionic Barrier going really low, has to drop the immortality field there as Saber on point with just insane amounts of energy, kind of just kicking everyone off of the point. No one wants to stay on this point with Saber, like 69 trillion energy on the Zarya. Monkey, you know, trying to make a play, but really nothing that Monkey can honestly do there in that scenario. Too many of Nihilus's teammates have dropped there in that little bit. So 52% here in favor of Aimless Esports. Aimless looking pretty strong. Still has defender's advantage and ult advantage. Saber coming up on the grab as well. This is not going to be easy if you're Plant Gang to win this point from this far. We see as well Slowbro on the Bastion is an interesting choice. And like when you're looking for a hit scan to play against Pharmacy, I don't know that really Bastion is the pick. Bastion, this very phasic hero, kind of an interesting choice there from Plant Gang. We see Saber, just still continuously having insanely high energy, bullying everyone. This is pretty rough. Pretty rough for Plant Gang here. I don't know if they're going to really be able to make any more progress. Again, playing against a lot of ult advantage at the moment. A team comp that honestly is interesting at best. We'll see how they kind of cope with this. Bamboozle comes out with the visor. Finds a few. That's just enough, honestly, to claim this. James Bong is going to kill a couple here, but this is still going to be really tough to turn around. And as I say that, it's actually insane. They are actually coming back from this. Bastion on point, half health, almost dead. They managed to kill the Bastion. Ari is up. And that's still a problem. Like, you still got to kill Ari, and all you have is a Junkrat, which Ari has just taken care of. They did manage to kill the Mercy here, so this is not a completely lost fight. That game is still kind of in this. They keep just, but it's just like not quite there. It's still pretty scrappy. Nihilus forced to use now Primal to stay in this. It's not going to be able to kill Saber, and the Bastion ults from spawn just to try to have some sort of like presence on point, and it just isn't enough. So that is going to be that's going to be game one, or I should say map one, in favor of Aimless Esports. Moving on to the control center. Hope the stream's looking good, guys, by the way. If anyone's in the chat and able to let me know. I'm just looking for, like, is it smooth? I'm, like, moving the camera around really quickly. I got my bitrate in resolution and all that set up in such a way. I just want to make sure it's all looking good. Just let me know.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2.
All right, coming out the gate here, both teams have a Junkrat, and that is going to be big plays. However, James Bond, kind of known for the Junkrat. Let's take a look at his perspective here. As a Junkrat enjoyer, it's actually taking so much Junkrat damage, actually, from Ari. They're able to get so much damage in onto James Bond, but he is able to stay alive thanks to the power of subspace. Taking another shot. I mean, Ari really is actually looking to diff the enemy Junkrat here as much as he can, really going for that duel. It's just a duel among the Junkrats here in White Room. Everyone else kind of playing on point, and it's a little bit less weird. We see team is trying to like put a lot of pressure on Saber here. As soon as Saber doesn't have that many bubbles available to him, they kind of want to like put as much pressure as possible. Get him to like rotate out of the position. Yeah, and that's going to be enough pressure to take down Saber, and that is piece number one here. If you can take down Saber, the rest of the team comp kind of just doesn't do as much. So big actually play there from Plant Gang to take down Saber. And again, Plant Gang is going to be first to cap here, but is that good enough? They're going to manage to get the res here on Slowbro so that they are going to maintain 5v5, except Saber walks into a Junkrat trap. They're going to have to use Lamp here, and that's a big resource. And we're also seeing Plant Gang coming back with a coalescence of their own here, just to like keep the momentum in their favor. However, when Aimless just doesn't play into the coalescence, then and when Plant Gang doesn't actually push in too much with the coalescence, it's kind of just a stall. Here, every ult that's been coming from Plant Gang has just been a stall ult, and Aimless has just simply waited it out every time. And now this ult from Aimless Esports actually gets a lot of value. And so, yeah, they were able to stall the point out, but Plant Gang didn't actually win fights with their ults. They just stalled with their ults. And it looks like Aimless Esports came here to win with ults. Pretty big difference. That's sad, High Noon. Yeah, absolutely, Orbit. It's a little bit sad. I mean, it made a little bit of space. It made, like, time. The thing is, when you make space in time, in space-time, then you actually want to do something with it. Like, if you know it's going to force them into some sort of position, you got to, like, actually have follow-up and a plan in place. But if it's just kind of like both teams scratch their butts for a second, then the team that isn't using the ult is kind of winning that exchange a little bit, because it's just like it's like a 0 for 1 in a way. However, you know, like, I do say that, but I mean, look at the clock right now. Plant Gang actually does have 89% on the clock, and you know, I was under the impression that Aimless was going to win that fight a lot sooner, but they kind of didn't. And so they did actually give Plant Gang 96% on the clock. That's not nothing. And, you know, the way that was playing out, it seemed like they were going to actually lose that when they had around 40 or 50%. And so they kind of just stalled that out for like half of the entire percentage, which is kind of crazy. Now, Plant Gang's rotating through black. They're kind of taking a sort of safe play. The thing is, when you rotate through black like this, it is still a little bit telegraphed, especially now. Junkrat, yes, is on top like that. And he's just going to get bullied out a little bit. Like, Monkey is able to just kind of plug that up for at least a moment. However, that did use, like, all of Monkey's resources and abilities to, like, dive anyone. And, of course, he can't go inside the room, so Junkrat's not going to die there. Kind of forces Saber to just go back down and immediately have to Primal to stay alive because his jump wasn't there. And as this match has kind of gone around, it's a little scrappy, but it looks like Plant Gang is actually a little bit ahead. James Bond does find the value he's looking for. And all we have left alive on Aimless side is Saber. Saber is going to go down here to Slowbro on the Reaper. That's something they're going to have to be able to play around here. And 96%, you know, like, Aimless can't really just, like, die, regroup. This is over. And here, Bionic Barry can't even touch. He is going to manage to, or actually it was Lucio. Lucio manages to trigger the overtime here. Overtime ticking kind of slowly here. Saber onto the Reinhardt. But is it going to be enough? And here, I mean, this fight, like, Aimless has to win this and then push forward, because right now, Aimless doesn't have point control. So it's just overtime in favor of Plant Gang. And Plant Gang just has to end the fight, like they did right there. Maybe Bionic Barry can touch. Cannot. So, close one there. That is going to tie us up between Aimless and Bionic Barry, 1-1. That's exciting. We got something going on here. I got a Discord message.
Ready for battle. Five, four, three.
Sorry, just a second. I'm reading a Discord private message. Okay, cool.
One. Round three.
All right, so we're looking at the final map of Lijiang, and it's 1-1 tied up Plant Gang versus Aimless Esports here. And Aimless Esports is going to pull out the Pharah again. I think that's the right choice, right? And so James Bond going down immediately there is exactly why I think it's the right choice. If James is going to constantly force the Junkrat, then Pharah is always going to be good. Like, it's always value. And of course, Plant Gang, having lost James Bond immediately there, that push 4v5 was almost inevitable. They probably would have been better off actually just pulling back, regrouping, and going in as 5 instead. And James has to be really careful not to die to this Pharah pre-fight. We get Nihilus onto the D.Va, and that's a heads-up play there, because this now, D.Va gets to play against the Pharah, as well as Slowbro on the Cassidy. So they're starting to counter-pick the Pharah a little bit here, and it's going to be really important for them to kind of maybe not go White Room against them, just because it really kind of chokes them down a little bit here, but they're deciding to go White Room. They're kind of like standing in the Pharah spam quite a lot. Whoops, quite a lot here. And D.Va is having a difficult time DMing all the rockets coming through and playing into the front line, but they do happen to be able to do it. Ari wasn't actually plugging up the choke with rockets as much as I thought he would be, kind of playing in the open space a little bit. But here, this is what I figured I would be saying was going to be Ari coming into the back. Kind of just does a barrage straight into D.Va's face. D.Va able to just use her mech to destroy the Pharah barrage wing. Cav going for the Mercy 1v1, actually almost kills Shiny Umbreon. Would have been devastating. But Shiny does manage to dodge that devastating death. Slowbro coming with a couple nice kills there, actually. Pick up a couple there for the side of the Plant Gang. Aimless Esports now 59% as the clock has fixed over to Plant Gang. And it looks like the ults are pretty even at the moment. It's going to be really on Plant Gang to try to like minimize and sponge the value of this aura as quick as possible, which we do see here. But are they going to just res it? It doesn't look like they are. No one's going to stop the res. We get Saber coming in with an ult. Doesn't really find anyone with the ult, but they are able to kill James Bong. The window comes down, makes a lot of space for Aimless Esports. They are using it pretty well here, shoving Plant Gang way into the backup point. They are able to find the picks they need, and this is going to be a flip back in favor of Aimless Esports once the Plant Gang has cleared off the point completely. And Aimless is ahead. So Aimless is still ahead on clock and has control of point, has defender's advantage. It's going to be actually pretty tough here for Plant Gang to come back from this, and I think they're going to have to go left side. I don't think they can go right side because they need D.Va just be like a clear match for the Pharah. Yeah, but and they also have to make a play here, right? And so they can't just sit here not making a play. Here we go. Here comes the play. It is able to kill two. They're going to get a res on one of them, though. Maybe. We shall see. And this is actually quite a few kills coming from Plant Gang. They're not going to find the res, and Plant Gang is going to swap it back into their favor at 94% in favor of Aimless. So Aimless really just to win one more fight here. James Bond has a tire. Something they maybe could do about it is they could get a tire kill early, but they got to play fast for that. You know, that's like a play fast for sort of situation. Yeah, and so Aimless Esports here, I think doing a good job just kind of like playing slow. They don't have to do anything, and just kind of like in this situation, you can sort of wait for Plant Gang to make a mistake. Like here, they committed the tire, and they're able to just cleanly use the lamp to negate it. So lots of fireworks go off here. Lots of ults start becoming activated. Aimless Esports starting to flip the point back in their favor as Plant Gang only has 89%. Lots of deaths on the side of Plant Gang, and it looks like Nihilus too low to even touch the point. This is going to be a flip at 95%. Nihilus can't stay alive. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to touch. There's a Sim TP on the point. Now they res the Moira. So actually Plant Gang making a pretty big presence on point here, but Ari coming alive, finding lots of kills on the back of point. They're not, even though they're able to touch point very efficiently, they're still not able to kill this Pharah, who is just an absolute menace to deal with. Pharah able to get their like 4 kills as Pharah against Plant Gang there on this last fight. The window comes out. Sim now back again. Grab comes out and kills James Bong actually. Yeah, so I'd say, you know, a whole lot of nice play there from both teams. Plant Gang almost actually held that. I just need to like stop. Yeah, there we go. Need one drive to stop downloading shit. Okay. There we go. I need to like pause OneDrive entirely. I want to pause for 24 hours. There we go. Pause for 24 hours. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. Because if it's downloading, then I don't know if that affects my stream or not, but I don't want it to. So, all right, let me respond to this message. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Go back to LFGS. We're gonna find the next code. Match schedule. No, match results. Okay. On to King's Row. History, replays, import, King's Row. Oh my god, really? Really, game? Really, dude? Okay. King's Row.
Now entering King's Row. Ready for battle.
Alright. We are on the Blings row. And looks like they moved James Bong over to tank. And I think that's a good idea because if James Bong is going to one-trick the Junkrat this entire match, like, they're just going to continue to one-trick the Pharah, and it's going to always be an issue. So putting James Bong on the tank, I think, is a heads-up play. That's good. They put Swagger Wagon on the Widowmaker. So we'll see how that goes. And there's no Pharah to be seen on the side of Aimless Esports. Ari on the Mei to play alongside the Reinhardt. Let's see how this goes.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Okay, so what we're seeing here is Aimless Esports choosing not to play up close at that first choke point with the Mei. So Mei wall's not really going to make a big difference here. They also, yeah. So see, the Mei wall came down, and even if it makes an isolation, it's really hard for them to like make a play from where they are. So definitely tough for Aimless Esports to like get any like defensive value here. Hard to find good walls. Bamboozle going to be jumping off the high ground there. It looks like Swagger Wagon coming out on the Pharah actually. We're seeing the Pharah rules kind of swapped. So now Plant Gang is the one playing the Pharmacy, and Aimless Esports is the one who's trying to shoot the Pharah out of the sky. A wall comes down, doesn't find any value. No isolations from that wall, and so Aimless Esports still going to play behind Hotel, tucked back there to try to keep themselves safe from the Pharah. But Pharah is starting to go wide here. Pharah Mountain taking a lot of space and stud space. And Slowbro actually finds some key picks here for Plant Gang to capture the first point. I don't think we're going to see any touches from Aimless Esports. Probably not any. Not a single one. No touches. No touches. Okay. So Aimless Esports is just going to try to play... I thought they were going to play books, but it looks like they're actually going to play up close. And I think it's because they really want to find that isolation, and it's going to be tough here because the upper left window is so easy for Swagger Wagon to get through. I imagine what we're going to see is as soon as they start playing for this wall strat is we're just going to see a flank from the Pharah. Or not. Maybe they're not going to play the flank. The wall doesn't do anything. The Blizzard comes down. The Blizzard's actually huge. They're going to find a kill on James Bong, and that's going to be pretty much a fight win there for Aimless Esports. Plant Gang just kind of like walking straight into the choke, which is going to put him in Blizzard potential. Blizzard was huge, and Swagger Wagon did not go on the flank there. So Swagger is threatening Barrage, though. We'll see how that goes. Barrage is coming up close here, and it looks like we're seeing a visor coming out from Bamboozle. Bamboozle finding Swagger with the visor, and that's going to be a key pick here. But oh my god, MTD from Saber actually able to block James's shatter and then shatter of his own. Pin. Oh wow, that was huge. Big play there from Saber. Coming in clutch for his team. Plant Gang is all the way back to the spawn room. Here comes James Bong. He's coming back. Teams are kind of just like staring each other down right now. I love seeing the nice spam there from Aimless Esports. Cav on the flank with the soldier, like shooting as well, getting that spam in. Good to see. The window comes down. The Fire Strike comes out and kills Subspace. That was a huge window Fire Strike play. Subspace just coming out of the corner slightly, dies to the Fire Strike. And now James doesn't really have the Moira to help him. And so Saber felt comfortable just kind of walking forward there a little bit, forcing James Bond just come back behind that choke. And here what we're seeing, Plant Gang just kind of having trouble finding the angles they need. Pharah definitely needs to just control the space more. When you play the Pharmacy alongside Rein, like the main tank is no longer Reinhardt. The main tank, the one who creates the most space, is the Pharmacy as a unit. And they need to figure that out and put Pharmacy in the more dangerous positions here to allow their Reinhardt to walk forward. Here comes the Justice from behind, able to kill both DPS on Aimless Esports sides. Huge play from Bamboozle. The Bamboozle flying really low right here. Has to be really careful. Finally jets back up into the air. Finds Cav. That's a huge play. And as I said, all the space is going to be made by the Pharmacy. We see Shiny Umbreon willing to pull out that Glock with the amount of confidence from that play. Aimless Esports regrouping. It looks like we're going to see the first point be captured here by Plant Gang. No one's going to contest it. And Aimless Esports playing it pretty safe here, not feeding as much as they can. They're just going to play this first point here on third point. First corner, I should say. Fire Strike's coming out. We don't see any... Bionic Barrier doesn't have the window yet. Again, the Shatter is blocked by Saber. And a bigger Shatter comes in by Saber. We're seeing Saber just kind of like exerting their prowess on the Reinhardt. Finding quite a bit of value. However, James Bond, alongside the Pharmacy, just kind of runs over Saber like an absolute lawnmower. You see Plant Gang starting to make a lot of progress here. This cart, with 2 minutes and 46 seconds on the clock, actually just kind of inching towards point, maybe a little bit faster than Aimless Esports is comfortable with. You see Saber, for the first time, swapping over to the Diva now to try to counter this Pharah, who's definitely a big problem for Aimless Esports. We see Bamboozle with another Visor coming from the top here, finding a few picks, and this is perfect for Aimless Esports. Finally able to find the kills they need to turn this around and get the momentum up in their favor. 2 minutes, 19 seconds remaining, and the cart is pretty close. So at this point, this is coming down to the wire. Like, really, Aimless can't like lose another fight. We see Swagger Wagon feeling like he's been countered, switches over to the Reaper, and I think that's a pretty solid choice. However, the Reaper's not going to be able to contest the range pressure that's coming from like everyone on Aimless Esports side. So like the Ashe versus the Soldier, you're basically going to have to play super aggressive Reaper here if you're Swagger Wagon. We'll take a look at how he's playing it. He's going on the flank here. Maybe he's going to try to find Bionic Barry in the back line, but that's pretty much his play. Like, he can't even peek out of an angle because the range pressure is just so huge. Ari finding a big pick on Slowbro there. That is, yeah, Ari finding another big pick. So here, this is going to be carried by Ari. While on the other side here, we're just looking to see survivors trying to stay alive as much as possible. Shiny Umbreon on 1 HP, trying to go for the GA. Does actually manage to get through the sight line safely. Huge from Shiny Umbreon. Takes a little bit of skill and a little bit of luck to make that GA. Yeah, I think this is pretty solid defense. Swagger Wagon still on the Reaper here. I think that pick is going to struggle quite a lot, especially with the Diva. I mean, all of your play is going to pretty much be defense matrixed on anyone. It's going to be tough to get anything done. What you're going to be relying on here, though, is this Earth Shatter is able to hit Ari, but Ari is just going to get all the support in the world. No follow-up going to be happening there. The Bob from Ari as well, just kind of holding an insanely good angle. Not much progress that Plant Gang can make while Aimless Esports just kind of holds these high grounds. Bionic super low right now, could actually die. The bomb comes out, not really finding anything. Saber now about to lose mech on cart. You guys gotta be really careful here. Yeah, losing mech there, not what you want to see as Saber. The rest of Aimless Esports just kind of like holding high grounds as much as possible here. Here, Swagger Wagon gets pretty much the most value Reaper could possibly get in that scenario. Finds 2 and a lamp. Ari almost dead here. And here is Slowbro coming up with the tack visor of the century. Exactly what you needed to get this to victory. And that's going to be 7.8 seconds on the clock remaining for the Plant Gang.
Score 0-3. Switching sides.
Wow. Good push there at the end for Plant Gang. Really pulled together. Kind of impressed me on the Reaper, honestly, because I didn't expect the Reaper to get a whole lot of value there. But the space is kind of small, so if you do just build the Blossom, there are definitely some situations where a Blossom as long as the D.Va doesn't have mech, is almost guaranteed to find at least one. So yeah, props to Swagger Wagon there for finding value on the Reaper pick. Good shit. What are we gonna see here from both teams? We're gonna see Slowbro coming out on Cassidy. Is Swagger Wagon gonna play the Pharah is the question, or are we going with the Mei? We're going with a Ryan comp, no Lucio, which means Ryan's not gonna have the speed to sort of close that distance. We're gonna see Swagger Wagon gonna play Reaper, and that's fine. Still though, no speed boost. On the side of Plant Gang, they're gonna hope that Defender's Advantage just weaves them into the positions they need. Have the enemy just come to them so they don't have to speed at all, but that's there's definitely a risk in that. Meanwhile, on the other side, we see Arion, a very interesting pick here on Sombra. Sometimes this usually means in the beginning of a game that they're just going to use Sombra to like look at where the enemy team is and then choose their comp based on that. And that's definitely what we're seeing here. We're seeing Aimless Esports isn't doing anything. They're just waiting for Sombra to tell them what comp they're playing, and then Sombra's going to teleport back. Yep, he's going to teleport back. Then they're going to play the comp they want to play. So now they know where they're playing, and they're gonna adjust their comp accordingly. Ari going to go over to the Reaper to match the Reaper, and they're going to be playing instead of playing Moira, they're going to be playing the Kiriko. So they're going to have a Suzu advantage over Subspace. James Bond going really low here, actually insanely low, but gets a nice pin onto Saber. Had to hit the oh no, Saber actually finds the counter pin of Destiny, able to kill James Bond there in that moment. And that first pick is huge in favor of Aimless Esports. The following picks are going to come from that, just by the creation of that advantage. Huge play there from Saber to find that counter pin. Saber now full sending it into a pretty dangerous territory and finds the solo shatter onto James Bond, wants to let him know who is in town. Oh my god, he's all the way on top of the spawn door, dies for it for the meme. What is going on? Aimless Esports just full sending it towards the spawn door. Now, yes, they are just going to regroup. They're just going to like get their stuff back. But you got to wonder if that was really worth it. Here, wow, just full sending it again. Almost gets Maywalled, but able to backtrack across the Maywall through point. The Maywall isn't going to find anything. Suzu down for Aimless Esports. And now, Subspace going in with the Coalescence. This could be super deadly. They know they don't have Shatter to stun it, so it's fine. The wall could be prove valuable, but is communicating with the team where the wall was. Able to slip through that wall, no problem. Aimless on a full regroup here, able to like weave and whip and schmoove around that Coalescence. Doesn't take too many deaths from it. And now we do get the full regroup. So Aimless Esports all back, all ready to go. They've got a lot of ults in their favor, on both teams' favor actually. The rush comes down. And here comes both Blossoms, but the Blossom that's coming on top is Swagger Wagon, finding 3 kills there, able to carry the team. Oh my, 4 kills, I'm sorry. Swagger Wagon with the absolute backpack. Crazy plays from Swagger Wagon there. Still good amount of ults on both teams. Plant Gang has the Mei ult. Mei ult is really good at it plugging in this choke point, so it makes sense why Plant Gang is playing here. This rotation from Aimless kind of bringing them off guard. They don't have any wall now on Plant Gang's side. This Blizzard's still going to be insane though. Maybe it's not so insane. There's some isolations happening here. Bamboozle on the high ground with this visor is able to find a lot of value. No one able to like deal with the soldier on this high ground. Plant Gang just doing everything they can to survive. The Blizzard didn't quite stick, and the wall didn't quite stick. So there, a little bit of sad play there from Slowbro. Didn't quite find what he wanted in that play. Ari's going to bring himself on top of the high ground, where Shiny Umbreon is just going to kind of slip and schmoove back to the team and not die. So good survivability there from Shiny Umbreon. The wall could be huge, but look at the communication on Saber's team, telling him exactly where the wall is and where to walk to. It's actually great communication there from Aimless Esports. James Bond has to hold up shield for dear life. Can't stay up. Is going to die there. Mei is just in ice block form. Gets walled off. And, whoa, what a play. Actually schmooved over the wall there with his own wall, but isn't able to stay alive. Cav able to clean that up. That was huge, though. Kind of a sweet little tech there from Slowbro. Getting out of that situation. Almost actually survived that, which has been pretty cool. Now, Aimless Esports making a pretty demanding push. I mean, if you look at the time on the bank here, almost 4 minutes on the clock here for Aimless Esports. That's a lot. Wow. Another shattered blocked by Saber here. And you got to wonder, man, I mean, Saber, I think he's blocked every single shatter, which is kind of insane. They're able to find the res on to James Bond, Reinhardt, and that's one of the bigger reses you can get there. So Plant Gang is going to get a little bit of momentum shift in their favor as they get that res in full reality. You know, Swagger Wagon trying to start in the flank there, it has to use Wraith immediately to get out. So they're well played, and we finally see a nice block from James Bond there to get rid of that shatter. James Bond finally kind of showing his colors a little bit there, getting to that. But that, look at that wall. That wall is nasty. Able to take out James Bond there pretty cleanly. That's huge. Huge play from Ari there. Now, 3 minutes left on the clock. Final corners being turned. They're going to have to wait for Shiny Umbreon to come back here. And right now they're looking at not quite a 5v5. Wait a minute. Hold on. The hero play from James Bong. Actually kind of huge. And Swagger Wagon finds a nice Blossom on top of the Kitsune Rush, so doesn't necessarily lose to the Kitsune Rush. Here it looks like it's just Ari on point and going to be taken care of pretty quickly by Slowbro. So clock is ticking down. We see Shiny Umbreon using that 30-second cooldown there right before this fight begins. Could actually prove to be an issue, assuming Aimless Esports actually makes a push here quickly. Could take advantage of the fact that they did use res. Both teams just kind of inching forwards one another. Aimless doesn't necessarily have to do this super fast. They can take their time with this. But they still want to like have a big advantage going into the next round as much as possible, obviously. Tire comes down, kills a couple. That's huge. Plant Gang. This is huge for Plant Gang, actually. Getting those 2 kills means that that's at least another 30 seconds off the clock for Aimless Esports. So no longer are they going to be capping this at 1 minute 40. Now the fastest they're going to cap this is like maybe 60 seconds. And that's if they do something crazy right now. Definitely putting themselves in a great chance to win the game potentially here. Speed boost coming in. Saber trying to find anything here. Builds the shatter. Here comes the shatter. But actually the shatter came down from James Bong's side. Here comes another shatter now from Saber's side. Able to knock down a few, but the damage has been done. Aimless Esports has already lost his fight. The shatter's not going to do anything. Saber actually might die here and get staggered himself, which he does. 56 seconds left on the clock. Now, that's another 30 seconds bought by Plant Gang. Suddenly, they're favored to win this. They are favored to win it. It looks like they actually have ult advantage coming in, too. They're going to have to beat a Kitsune Rush and a Visor. But they have Kitsune Rush, or sorry, they have Mercy ult of their own, and they also have a Blossom coming up. Along with Defender's Advantage, this could be really good for them. Plant Gang, they could hold this. If they full hold here, then that's just going to be 1-1 on the board. Yeah, Aimless Esports. It's 16 seconds left on the clock. We're going to see the Rush Visor come out. This Rush Visor needs to be huge. They're going to find Swagger Wagon. Swagger did actually just lose Blossom there. That's a big thing there for Aimless Esports. They are ahead. But still, I mean, they're putting so much resources into James Bong. James Bong still hasn't died. There we go. That's the kill that they needed for Aimless Esports. Where Moira's just going to stall card even more. They got to now take down the Moira. They do. But here, the cart is turning the corner again here. And they're not going to be able to cap this without winning another fight. Now there, if you're shining Umbreon, maybe you don't go for that one. I still think we're going to see another touch here from James Bong. It's going to hold the cart for a little. Oh, no, he actually got booped. Okay. Huge boop there from the side of Aimless Esports. Able to keep that, or it wasn't boop, I think it was a Javelin, actually. Able to keep James Bong off the point. They're able to cap that up. However, look at the clocks. I mean, Plant Gang actually has more time in the bank than Aimless Esports, and that was looking really good for Aimless. I mean, capping the second point there with 4 minutes left on the clock, you'd think that they would have more time at the end, but they actually didn't. So, well played there from Plant Gang. All right, let us see what they're going to come out the gate with here.
Ready for battle.
All right. Interesting. We got another pharmacy. No pharmacy from Planking though. We're gonna see the pharmacy coming from Aimless Esports again. So kind of a reminisce of the Lijiang Tower game.
Birds of a feather get here together.
There's no Widow coming out of the gate right from the beginning. From Aimless Esports. So
4,
they're just gonna roll out with what they're gonna roll out with.
1. Attackers.
No Sombra scouting this time either.
Defend objective A.
There's also no Widowmaker from the side of Planking. So this Bar doesn't have to deal with the Widowmaker, although they do have to deal with Slowbro on the Bastion. However, again, Bastion, a very phasic hero. As soon as he's out of that turret form, he just goes into recon form. And from there, he just easily dies. As you can see there, Bastion, not a very survivable hero when he doesn't have his cool form. We see Reaper in the backline, just holding out as long as he can. He's got Wraith here to survive. He's going to get Javelin straight out of Wraith. They're going to probably put a lot of pressure here on the Reaper, but pressure's not coming in quite enough. They're able to find res onto the Junkrat. Is that Junkrat? No, it's not. There's no Junkrat on the map. Listen, don't listen to me right now, okay? I am mentally out of it. Okay, Aimless Esports finally taking the point here a little bit. And it looks like Planking not willing to give a tick as James Bong just does a pin straight in, sends it into Saber, but dies for it. Meanwhile, Ari just raining hell down from above. Saber finding a couple kills there, but Ari really just kind of getting on top of them with that Pharah, forcing them to look straight up there. Creates a lot of space for Aimless Esports to actually take this point. They're going to get a couple ticks. We are in overtime at the moment. They're not going to get any more capture progress or any more point progress here. It's just going to be overtime, so they're going to have to stay on. All right, so Planking trying to hold the choke as much as they can. They've actually come with a huge shatter, but look at that perfect javelin spin, able to keep James Bong off of the Shattered team. The Shatter did absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Saber gets a nice ult. Ari coming from kind of coming from his own behind, gets the barrage onto Swagger Wagon to make sure Swagger Wagon dies there. Now the cart's making huge progress forward, able to turn this first corner. And Planking is in no position to contest. At this point, Planking just is on the back foot here. Has to run backwards as much as possible. Yeah. They're going to have to hold this point here. And honestly, like, I think they're still waiting. Yeah, they're waiting on Bastion in the back here, who's going to have the turret form, but perhaps use his turret maybe a little bit too early. All they have to do is wait out the turret and then make their push. Swagger Wagon gets javelined out of the Reaper ult. Now the Bastion ult comes down. Is going to find a bunch of kills in favor of Planking. Planking is finally able to contest that. Overtime clocker ticks down, and that's going to be almost the whole Streets phase for Aimless Esports. Tough one to beat, honestly. A minute and 7 seconds is not a whole lot of time to be able to push the cart that far. Although both teams do seem to be a little bit better at offense than defense. So anything is possible here. Okay. I imagine we're probably going to see more Pharmacy, but I don't know that we're going to see the Bastion again. Maybe? That seems to be what they think the answer is to the Pharah. We're going to see actually a combination of Soldier Pharah, and I think that is stronger. On the other side, we're going to see double hit scan, triple hit scan with a Diva. So they are definitely not interested in losing to Pharah. Definitely not interested in losing to Pharah. And this is the kind of team comp they want to like keep on the down low. Anyone looking? No one's actually looking. Okay, so they're able to make that rotation, and Planet Gang wasn't really watching the rotation. And this is interesting as well. They know about the whole Sombra thing, and so they're kind of standing up here on the high ground, waiting for the enemy team, so that they don't really know what they're playing. Maybe they'll roll out on the Pharah.
Defend objective A.
Yeah, and we see actually Ari is off of, or no, sorry, no, my bad. Swagger Wagon is on the Pharah. Looking at the wrong side there for a second. And so having to, like, playing out the Pharah here means you're going to play one of your only 2 available fights being kind of countered. It's not ideal. I mean, if I'm Pharah in this scenario playing against triple hit scan, I think my preference is probably to go to the spawn room and swap early, because right now, if you get hard countered as Pharah here on this fight, then you're going to swap to low ult charge and just be down entirely. Bamboozle finding a big kill on subspace there. Ari finding Slowbro. Yeah, this is so far in favor of Aimless Esports. The defense is working. Not really much in that like Pharah can do. Pharah isn't really able to poke anybody out. If Swagger Wagon stays on Pharah, that's going to be really, really interesting here. Looks like he is staying on the Pharah. That is fascinating. Overtime is ticking, and it looks like like I said, we're only going to get 2 fights available. It kind of turned out to be 1.5 fights. Really, really solid fight pacing from Aimless Esports there to drag that fight on for a really long time. And unfortunate that Swagger Wagon kind of fell into the trap of playing Pharmacy into triple hit scan. All right. Moving on to Dorado. Okay, and as we move on to Dorado, I am going to grab some water because I feel dehydrated.
Traveling to Dorado. Ready for battle.
So we got a minute for things to even kick up. Anyway, I'll be right back.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
All right, hold on. I'm back, but I'm kind of not. Hold on. I think the game's already begun. Excellent streamer starts game without even being here. Very cool. All right. What we got going on here? It looks like Saber on the Ramatra. Interesting choice here. Ramatra, I think, does actually defend this pretty well. So, see how that goes. I like that he can spam from the high ground, and then as he comes up to the rotation here under bridge, the muscle phase actually works out really well for Ramatra. Really good hero pick here. Now it's going to swap off of the monkey over to the Orisa. I think that's a good choice. Also, I have these little chocolates. They're amazing. Chocolate's so good. Yum. Imagine if I was just casual on regular feature matches. It's like not talking about the game, and instead just like talking about my chocolate. Man, I'm gonna have another one of these chocolates. These are fucking good. There we go. Nice. Excellent stuff. Okay, so Night Gang is now it's actually a Diva Mirror. That's kind of cool to see. We see Swagger Wagon still on this Pharah, now playing against triple hit scan and Diva again. At this point, if you're Swagger Wagon, like, what's the play? Like, how do you make any approach to anything? Is my question. Like, you have to just literally be better. Looking to take advantage of his barrage here. Yeah. See here. Is able to find the killer. That's a big play. So, like, you have 4 people on your team that do well against fire, but you do have to work together when you're doing so. Here, we were able to see Ari get that kill. Shiny Umbreon not interested in going for that res. So, it just kind of cuts back around to the team. Flanking is going to have to make some sort of play on the high ground here, and they do. They put Nihilus on top, but Nihilus just going to instantly lose his mech almost. This bomb is big. This is actually really big. That is huge, actually. The counter bomb comes in. Nothing much happens, though. Saber not finding the same value that Nihilus found. Nihilus, that was a massive, massive bomb. And Aimless kind of just fell right into that. That was huge. Big play. Big bomb, as they say. Okay, so we're seeing Plant Gang just kind of like relying. Okay, yeah, they're going to clinch that with the Blossom. There's no way that Amis is going to be able to hold. They're not. Yeah, 4 minutes and 30 seconds in favor of Plant Gang. Not a song we haven't heard before. Pretty common for points 1 and 2 to go quickly on Dorado. This last one's a lot harder to do quickly. It's a lot easier to defend for the defending team. So we'll see if Aimless can actually hold this for a little longer. Bionic Berry on the Ana. We have not seen this pick yet. So this is pretty exciting. We love seeing Ana come out of the woodworks here. We see Bar going up our right side here. Swagger Wagon still playing into quite a lot of hate here. So this is going to be tough. Like this high in the air, you're just asking to die as far there. Yeah, so not much you can do as far in this situation. Subbase purpled and coalescing, isn't able to heal himself with the purple on top of him like that. So not much that Subspace can do to stay alive there. Too many deaths on the side of Plant Game for them to really make any plays. So they're just going to pull back. They're going to pull back a little bit here. Look at the ults. We definitely see a massive advantage in favor of Aimless Esports. So this fight should be pretty easy for them. They've got defender's advantage. They have ult advantage. They've got good positions, hit scans. Their comp looks good. We do see Swagger Wagon now swapping over to the Ashe to match the Ashe. Notice he wasn't getting in value on the bar anymore. Lots of 5 ults in favor of Aimless. They got to make a play here to get a kill. I recommend them doing something. Okay, the do something challenge is succeeded finally by Bob coming out into the enemy backline, finding Slowbro. Huge pick. Ari now able to find everything. Yeah. That was, you know, if you're Plant Gang, I think you were hoping for them to like use more ults in that scenario. But Aimless Esports showing us a master class in the way of self-restraint, only used Bob to clinch that fight, and that kind of just that's a bit of a fat finger from Cav. But the last fight, it was just Bob v Mercy ult. So really, there's just a 1-for-1. They still have defender's advantage, still have ult advantage. This looks just as good this fight as it did last fight in favor of Aimless Esports. So yeah, this bomb could be good. Is able to find Ari. There's nothing. Ari tried to like hide behind that pillar. Wasn't quite able to find the angle. Cav gonna get a free res though. No one's gonna stop it. The bomb comes out. Doesn't find anything there. The Bob does not land where the Bob was supposed to land there. You got to think that was a misplay. And at this point in the game, Plant Gang cannot be wasting resources like that. So that is unfortunate on the side of the Plant Gang. Now it's getting purpled there. Has to like walk off of the high ground and way back down to safety. Saber able to just kind of take command of the high ground, but gets pushed off by Nihilus. It's a fight for the high ground here, but Aimless Esports is winning that fight. Saber finding a big, that's a huge pick onto Swagger Wagon. Saber going in too deep here is going to lose mech. So yeah, that's definitely, if you're Plant Gang, you see the mech loss, you just run out, because right now you do not let Saber get that mech back. If you go into this next fight without him having mech, you're basically going into a 5v4. So this could be how Plant Gang actually takes this. So now what you want to do, if you're Plant Gang in this scenario, you really just want to kill that baby diva as quick as possible, because you do not want to let her remech, and the remech is the win condition. If they remech, it's like back to a fair fight. And it looks like, wow, look at Saber going all the way back to spawn to swap the hero back over to Diva. Keeps 27% of the ult charge, no problem. That's a great play from Saber to save the tempo. We see the Blossom come out. There was not enough DM there in that moment, so the Blossom is able to find 3 big, freaking huge picks there from Slowbro. Kind of clutching that. Comes in from the side there. I don't think they were ready for it. And really, the counterplay there was for Saber to come in clutch with the defense matrix, but just wasn't able to react to it in time. Dang.
Switching sides. Initiating match.
Okay.
Ready for battle.
We're seeing Saber on the Monkey. Ari and the Genji is kind of exciting. Bionic Barrier on the Ana is pretty exciting. This is definitely uncommon team comp to see in this tournament. I'm wondering if like recent patches has had them come up with this idea for this comp. We're seeing them try to take advantage of like Nano Blade, but like Genji isn't very good right now. Not really like where he once was. His ammo's still kind of low. And his shurikens don't really do as much damage as they really need for him to get like the high value. So yeah, interesting play here. But the one thing that Genji does have is the ability to set up for like any dive and kind of match the pressure with Monkey in almost any position. But he really has to be on top of that to be able to like take advantage of Genji. And like dashing into the enemy team like that is pretty okay. You know, is able to do fine there. Actually, like good space has been made here. I think that the Monkey pick really actually pretty good in this scenario. Although is going to have to jump out immediately there. Playing like we're seeing Monkey being played, I think, pretty well given the circumstances. But overall, playing into the Reaper and the Diva, kind of rough. Like really, your only dive target, the only one you're going to be feasting on is Slowbro on the Symmetra here. So that's pretty much what you're playing for, and you're playing as well for your bubbles to command space. So you can't really do anything without the bubble. And it kind of like hinders your tempo a bit. The turrets are down, but I don't think the turrets are that much of a problem for Aimless. I think they're going to be able to play around it pretty well. Might be a tough nut for Genji to crack here, but they're probably gonna kill these turrets. Bamboozle will be able to just kind of go through and maybe not get melted immediately. We'll see. Slowbro does go down, but gets res, so it's still 5v5. And the bubble comes down, and Saber has to kind of just jump out, getting super low there. They're gonna clear the turrets, find the kills they need to find. Saber's back to full health, has the barrier down again. It's gonna drop that. That's gonna create a lot of space. Ari finding another, gets a nice little almost ghost dash onto Shiny Umbreon. Cool Genji play coming out here. Nihilus probably gonna lose the mech. Oh, actually gonna save mech here. Huge play from subspace, but Nihilus needs to take that and run with it. Needs to like get out and not lose the mech. Really important. Your Moira died for that, so definitely don't lose that mech.
The payload has reached
Yeah.
the check.
Okay. So mech not lost. That's huge. Okay. The teleporter definitely a little aggressive there. Has to go in then right back out. Looks like Swagger Wagon happy to take the duel here. However, don't have a Wraith for him. Forced to use Blossom to stick around. And the Primal is just gonna say, I don't care. Like Primal against the Reaper, pretty strong. However, the picks are coming alive for flanking here, and Aimless is gonna have to back off. Oh, is there no skybox when I'm in replay viewer anymore? So it used to be that like if I wanted to go above the skybox, which is a route right here on Dorado, I'd have to activate this mode to go up. It looks like I can just go above the skybox now. That's interesting. Bamboozle with the High Noon not able to find anything. The defense is now starting to, looks like it's starting to become in favor of Plant Gang. It's almost like they kind of practice their defense here on this part of the point. Also, it is pretty interesting to be defending so close here. You don't see this sort of defense a whole lot. Like the close hold doesn't really happen as much. It's usually taking advantage of this high ground up here, but Plant Gang with maybe like an unorthodox defense is catching Aimless Esports off guard. We see Saber now onto the Zarya, and we also see Ahri over onto the Pharah. So they notice that the Plant Gang is kind of weak to Pharah. They turned off the hit scans. All they have is Nihilus to counter the Pharah, and that's kind of not enough sometimes. Although Nihilus is pretty good on the D.Va, these Pharahs are pretty nasty and usually demand like 2 people to deal with them at least. We're seeing like Ahri kind of going unchecked on top of the enemy team. There's not much they can do. Shiny Umbreon just kind of glocking for their life, try to stay alive as long as possible. Is able to find the GA, is able to get to safety there. Nihilus dying, full dying on point. Try to stall that as much as possible. Now we see Slowbro on the top here. We see him over to the Ashe now, off of the, I think it was on Cassidy? Something like that? I don't remember what he was on. Slowbro is over to the Ashe though now. Just trying to take care of this Pharah. Or it was on Symmetra. It was a Symmetra to Ashe, that's what it was. We see Swagger Wagon still on the Reaper. We see a teleport into the flank here. Swagger Wagon maybe looking for a Blossom from behind. He's going to have to get a couple of punches to find it, though. Here we go. This could be big. It is. It is monumental. Well, not as monumental as Bamboozle's play, which pretty good for Aimless Esports here. They're gonna have to kill Slowbro or Subspace on point, which is not too difficult because had to use Fade to get to point. And we see the High Noon coming from Bamboozle here, gets the bubbled and everything, and they can't do anything about it. Still has it held. I don't think they realized that he didn't drop it yet. Held that thing forever. And now, Saber high energy? Saber's not very high energy right now. Kind of low energy for Saber at the moment. See if any plays come out of it. Nihilus trims the bomb in the air. Bomb isn't... Oh, is actually going to find Ahri. A little surprise there. Cav going to be able to res it, though, with 0 counterplay. Subspace fading onto the point for a second time. Dies instantly again. And Bamboozle finds a couple of kills. We see at this point, I mean, it's the fight has dragged on a long time, and spawn advantage is just in Plant Gang's favor. So all of Plant Gang's mistakes are being cushioned by the fact that they spawn closer, and Aimless Esports' mistakes are being punished by having to have these long respawns. So even though it was pretty even throughout that entire fight, Aimless Esports is only going to overall take the L on that one because of the spawn disadvantage. Now, Bamboozle finds a big kill on Swagger and finds a kill onto Slowbro. That's pretty big. And with a couple of those picks, this could go in their favor. However, it's going to be stalled out a little bit too. They find a res. We see Subspace going for another kind of aggressive fade here that could be taken advantage of. Ball going for the slam. Huge E, actually, from Saber there to hold as much as possible. Although we're in overtime, you know, like, they have to stay on point at this point. So, there we go. They can probably kill Subspace. Ahri just finding all the damage. Aimless Esports is able to find the kills they need. You can't, oh, wow. So the bomb's going to come in and actually hold this for even longer. Almost finds the crunch time. If that was a crunch time for a 2 or 3K, that would have been, honestly, probably not just the play of the game, but the play of the tournament. We see Ahri is just, like, taking a huge amount of space here. The rockets coming in clean. They find Slowbro. And they were able to kill Ahri, except that Ahri is just going to get rezzed here. Now he continues to be a pervasive problem here. Nihilus going in so deep, able to land on high ground, but is super low, and you can't get demeched. If you get demeched, that's just a 4v5 for your team, so has to full retreat. Aimless Esports now just kind of nudging the cart here. They have 45 seconds to get this finished up. And Saber's in, but like right on top of the Reaper. Super painful for Saber. Saber's just gonna die. Slowbro finds a few kills with Bob. 3 kills and a lamp. The Bob is huge. They find a res onto Ahri, but is it enough? Not really. Like, Ahri's just using that res to get out and probably doesn't get out with his life, so it turned out to be a feed res. unfortunately, for Aimless Esports, as they only have 15 seconds left to touch this cart. This is going to have to be, like, Cassidy rolling it. No, they do have Diva. Diva can touch within 10 seconds, but it has to, like, go. No, that was not quite what you wanted. Now you're going to get booped around. Looks like Bamboozle barely able to touch. Has to give his life for it. Saber has to give his life to touch as well. And if you're given 2 lives just to touch the payload, you're pretty much instantly losing. So this is going to go into favor of Plant Gang. They are going to find the kills they need. It's just a matter of wrapping it up. And that is now going to be 1 on the board for Plant Gang, 2 on the board for Aimless Esports. So now we're going on into match point. Let me go grab the code. Coliseum.
Arriving at Coliseum.
All right.
Ready for battle.
Okay, the replay started at 20 seconds. Everyone had their heroes picked. That was interesting. So doors opening very soon now.
5, 4,
And it looks like we're getting Swagger Wagon on the Pharah. No Pharah on the side of Aimless Esports. Instead, they're just playing a Ramatra Brawl comp. I like this team comp coming from Plant Gang, though. There's a lot going on with it. I love the Diva pick. Diva's a very, very fun, interesting hero. The wall comes down from Aimless Esports, but not able to actually find any value there. So the wall kind of isn't something that the Plant Gang has to worry about anymore. Swagger Wagon going kind of low there. Almost dies, but they're doing fine. The wall comes down again. Doesn't really find an isolation. It's going to be tough to find an isolation here. Turrets are down. And so I think Plant Gang is just kind of, you know, like playing around all of the win conditions, I think, pretty well. They're playing kind of slow. The longer this fight goes on, though, like, Diva comps do not want to play slow. And this is kind of what happens when a Diva comp plays slow. Diva has to play, like, super fast, get value really quickly. So, yeah. That was kind of rough for Plant Gang. Like, you can chill around and play slow for a little while, but as it plays too long, eventually the Ramatra comp, especially with Baptiste, will just, like, out-heal you and then outlast you overall. The longer fight not really looking like it's being in favor of them. Nihilus is going to swap over to the Orisa to match Saber on the Ramatra. I think that's a good choice. All right, getting close to going down there. If they can get a little bit more focus fire. Slowbro, no Wraith on point here. Trying to fight for survival. The Coalescence from Subspace here could find some nice kills. However, the Annihilation now comes out from Saber. And Annihilation always been such a powerful ult. Not much the enemy team can do once you pull out the Annihilation. They just have to run away. You know, so far, Aimless Esports actually doing, like, really well. They haven't actually lost a fight yet. So they're playing really camping and it's working. Slowbro comes out with the Blossom. Is able to find Saber. That's a big pick that they've definitely been looking for. So Plant Gang is able to turn control of this. Bonnet Berry just going to simply jump off the edge. Although in that scenario, probably could have lived. Just jumped over the tree. Interesting. Didn't want to get staggered. They didn't want to take the risk, and I respect that. All right. So Cart's going to make a bit of progress here. I should say Timmy's going to make a bit of progress for Red's team, for Plant Gang, as it's going to make its way over to this section here. Now, this normally pretty tough for a lot of teams, but with the Pharah, actually not as bad. Although, if they were on the Diva comp, I think this would be a little bit easier for them. Here, they're going to have to play against the Blizzard and the Wall. Some isolations are coming in play for Aimless Esports, but they weren't able to be followed up on exactly. And so, yeah, Swagger Wagon with the Barrage especially, able to find that clutch pick that you need. The clutch actually like 3 picks. And Plant Gang's able to win that. So really good on them for being able to win that little fight there. And they needed to win that fight to sort of like tie this up because they're still losing. It's still 61 meters to 49. And they got to win like... at least half or another entire fight to kind of turn this back into their favor. This is good. This is good for them. Here, Ramatra's just like all in with the muscles out and doesn't have Annihilation exactly, so he's going to have to farm it up a little bit here if they want to pull out the Annihilation. A lot of resources put into Saber. Now Saber does have Annihilation, so this should go into the favor of Aimless Esports if they play their cards right. Here it comes. Actually, he doesn't even have to use it. Actually, really showing great restraint here from Saber, not having to use the Annihilation when that really, really would have been tempting to use it there to win that fight for sure. He's able to hold it, and that's huge. That means that it's just like another fight win in the bag, assuming it's played correctly. All right, and so Planking, holding the top high ground here, gets to enjoy the fact that enemy team does not have the lead anymore. So as long as they stall the robot, it's really on Aimless Esports to push this bot further. Right now, Planking is actually technically in the lead. Here comes, okay, here comes the Coalescence. Are we going to see the Annihilation come out? And I don't think we are because he's too far down in numbers. I don't think he can turn this. I think it's just going to be a walkout. However, with the res, that could be a change. And they kill, actually, Swagger Wagon. This could be huge, actually. Get the whole the block to block the whole Blossom. This is devastating now if you're Plant Gang. The spear is huge, though. It pushes you out of the range. But you stayed in range because of Shiny Umbreon at the wrong place at the wrong time. Finally, the Annihilation is over, but at what cost? I mean, the whole fight's already over at this point. Aimless Esports did finally win that fight, and the card's actually going to flip now in favor of Aimless Esports, and they have now close advantage. So now, Aimless Esports in a huge lead. Not only did they take the lead, but they kind of leapt forward a lot. With that spawn advantage, they're going to be able to hold the position they have for quite a while, and it's going to be tough for Plant Gang to really turn that around either side. And here, Nihilus come down with the Terra Surge, is able to find Ari, and that's a pretty big pick here. And the Barrage comes down as well. That's a lot of picks in favor of Plant Gang, and like I said, they can turn this a little bit, but it's a pretty big mountain. Look at the spawns now coming from Aimless Esports. All of them, all 5 of them got that close spawn before losing it. Huge, actually, for them. Firing back with the rush here could take this back immediately, and all they have to do is push the bot back to where it was, and they'll get their close spawn advantage again. Bamboozle finding a big kill there on Slowbro. This looks like it's in favor of Aimless Esports. Huge spear onto Shiny Umbreon. Gets pushed into a wall here. Swagger Wagon going down as well. Probably didn't even need to use the high noon there from Bamboozle. The fight was already won anyway. But just for good measure, use that high noon as well. Here, Slowbro does not want to die early here. What? You see maybe a bit of a fat finger there from Subspace, or trying to use it to get out of the spawn room as quick as possible, because it does increase movement speed, but that was a huge waste, unfortunately, of a tool they kind of needed. And now we see, again, close spawns in favor of Aimless Esports, as Plant Gang's going to try to approach this with no Wraith now in their boat. Here comes a Terra Surge. Not a lot of tools to play against it. Slowbro paying the price of using Wraith a little bit too early there. Going down, Nihilus is just getting double pocketed, but double pocket apparently not enough for the amount of damage pressure that Aimless Esports is putting into him from all kinds of different angles. And now, if you're Plant Gang, you're just kind of like being bullied into your spawn room. Swagger Wagon trying to find an angle on the left. I think it's a good heads-up play from him. We're going to see what kind of play is going to come out here as we see Ari in the back line. Going for a visor play isn't going to work out for him, actually. Able to play around that one pretty well. I'm surprised to see that. It's good stuff coming from Plant Gang here, although they're still significantly behind in this game. They really have to start winning fights and winning them like now if they want to start turning this around in their favor. We're seeing Aimless Esports kind of just they don't have all their numbers. And yeah, they're not able to make a play without all their numbers here. The 4v5 is kind of hurting them at the moment. Ooh, and Slowbro loses his ult there. Rather unfortunate for him, but Swagger Wagon does find the kill with his. A Terra Surge as well. It's a lot of ult commitment now as well. Coalescence, that's 4 ults used by Plant Gang to try to hold this. And if you look, actually, like, Aimless isn't even dead. We're left with a 1v1. Moira versus... Why would he use Fade? Interesting. And despite that, Saber does decide to give up the card. What a spear, though, from Saber. Oh, my God. Crazy stuff. Saber kind of nuts with the spear. Seeing Nihilus back on over to the Diva here. Still significantly behind on the board. 1 minute left. Not only does Plant Gang have to overcome the power of spawn disadvantage, but they also have to push in really bad map geometry. Here they're able to get a kill on Bionic Berry even through the rush. That's actually kind of crazy. They're able to play straight into the Kitsune rush without too much issue. However, Ari does find a couple. Get Shiny Umbreon to lift up Slowbro, and now the card's still moving in Plant Gang's favor. That's a start. So now you're fighting fights without so much spawn disadvantage. Still a little bit, but it's in your favor a little bit. It's starting to push in the right direction if you're Plant Gang, and now you have spawn advantage, Plant Gang. So this is where it needs to be. This is like, if you're gonna win, this is the route you need to take. We see Bamboozle come with a high noon from the top here. Perhaps a little bit too early, though, because the overtime ticker wasn't running, so you weren't able to force them off the cart in the time that mattered. You forced them off when it kind of didn't matter that much. And now we see Ari with the visor coming around. Is going to find actually probably a bunch of kills here. And yeah, absolutely. Is able to find the kills they need. Ari able to clutch this in, and that is going to be a win for Aimless Esports versus Plant Gang 3-1 in the playoffs. Wow. Crazy game. Honestly, kind of crazy game there. Well played from both teams. Both teams did pretty awesome. Aimless Esports just did a little bit better. So they're able to take that victory, and they're going to be moving on into the next stage of the playoffs against... Let me make sure I'm saying this correctly. They're going to play against the AC Ruse. AC Ruse completely undefeated. That's going to be a tough game for Aimless Esports to win. But who knows? They're bringing the heat, and we'll see how that goes. The other match that I was going to take a look at was going to be between Fantasia and Bibib Clappers. And I would take a look at that match, but I don't know. I've been streaming for a little while now. My voice is, after solo casting for an hour. Is it recording too? Oh, did I press F9 by accident? I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so I got a 15-minute recording and an hour and 20-minute stream. I wonder how the stream looked after I started recording that. Recording and streaming at the same time. And I might have to change that hotkey. How do I accidentally... Oh, you know why? Because I use the F keys to flip around different people. Oh, that's not going to work. I'm going to use page up. Okay, I'll do that instead. Okay, so I won't accidentally start recording midstream. Good, I'm glad I caught that. All right. Yeah, I would do the other match, but my voice is starting to get a little bit like, nah. I've been solo casting for an hour and a half. That's pretty much enough for me to solo cast, so I am going to call it quits there. But I think the stream's looking good. I think it's looking playable. I think we can run with this. So with all that said, I'm going to head off for now, and we'll see you next week for following feature matches. I'll say goodbye. See you later.